It's 2005, Manumission's Ibiza, you're on the dance floor, getting fingered by Wayne Lineker. What are you drinking? Marlboro Sauvignon Blanc! Sauvignon Blanc is the green-skinned grape that originates from the Loire Valley. The grape gets its name from the French word for wild, which is sauvage, and blanc, which is white. One of Sauvignon Blanc's parents is the ancient grape Sauvignon, and it's not quite sure who the other parent is, which means Sauvignon loved the D. On the council estate that Sauvignon Blanc grew up in were her siblings, Gruneveltliner, Chenin Blanc, Sylvaner, and Verdelieu, just to name a few. Anyway, for centuries Sauvignon Blanc loitered around Europe, mainly in Bordeaux, where it jumped into bed with Cabernet Franc and produced Cabernet Sauvignon, which we'll review on another video. From there, Sauvignon Blanc hot-tailed to California, where its American dream became an American nightmare. Now, in its formative years, the California wine industry was responsible for growing grapes like Zinfandel, Grenache, Riesling, Malbec, and Sauvignon Blanc. So it's fair to say that the landscape of the California wine industry would have been decidedly different if it weren't for
Prohibition.
It is a tragic story, and whereas beer and spirits seem to have thrived under Prohibition due to speakeasies and bootleggers, the wine industry basically got a massive kick in the dick. And despite the fact that the first vineyards that got planted out in California were like the 1680s, if you look today, it's hard to find a vineyard that's older than 1930. So, Prohibition happened, and some things that should not have been forgotten were lost. History became legend, legend became myth, and in the New World, for 40 years, Sauvignon Blanc passed out of all knowledge. Until Marlborough is a region in New Zealand that is located in the northeast of the South Island and is named after John Churchill, Duke of Marlborough. Yes, 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 yes! A distant grandfather to Winston Churchill, of all people, who was related to Princess Diana. And that kind of makes sense, because if you go back to the 1300s, the origins of the Churchill name comes from the Spencer family tree, which is Diana, which is the future King of England, which means the Lannisters fucking won. Marlborough's first large-scale vineyard was planted in the mid-1970s, and to this day is responsible for 85% of all of New Zealand's wine. And for a hot minute there, that 85% was probably largely comprised of one label. Plot twist.
Benjamin is drinking Cloudy Bay, the wine brand that helped launch an entire region into the stratosphere, and one of the most successful labels in wine history. Your mother.
If New Zealand wine is punk rock, this is the Sex Pistols. Now, most people who don't know anything about punk rock know who the Sex Pistols are, but most punk rock aficionados hate the Sex Pistols. See where I'm going with this? So the question is, how did this become such a global icon? Just put the bottle down without looking. Well, the grape itself, Sauvignon Blanc, provides a kaleidoscope of different flavours and aromas, and depending on what region you're in is going to really depend on what the flavour you get at the end. So in warmer climates you get very kind of tropical flavours, but in the cooler climates like New Zealand you get citrusy, grassy flavours. Not only is it a cool region, it's also incredibly isolated, so it's a fucking ball ache to buy a load of French oak. So most people in New Zealand age their wines in stainless steel. So necessity becomes the mother of invention, and the results are a really distinctive and bold wine. Now, I was going to source out something that was not as mainstream as Cloudy Bay Sauvignon Blanc, but if we're talking about Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, we have to really address this wine, so that's why we're going to be tasting it today. I have 100% had this in my life. I cannot remember where or when, and this is the first time I've actively, knowingly bought a bottle of Cloudy Bay Sauvignon Blanc. So let's give it a go. Not as much grass as I thought there would be. No, not that much grass. You can get it, but more lemon zest, lime, nectarines. Alright, let's have a... I mean, that's why it's popular, right? It's the acid. just your mouth is coated with saliva and instantaneously you just want to go back for more. It's a good quality wine. It's intense. Weighty, passion fruit, lime zest, sort of a minerality to it, like oyster shells. It's an intelligent wine, like, fuck all the naysayers, it's a good wine. It's a good quality wine. Look, I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy this every Friday night, but I'd definitely buy it again. It'll go really well with tuna, with trout, fruity, so like fruit tarts for dessert, passion fruit mango, and goat's cheese. Like, goat's cheese tart would be a fucking winner with this. Share, like, or comment below, or don't. This is, after all, a distress signal from the decaying embers of a middle-class, white, male-privileged human being who's in the epicenter of a titanic midlife crisis.